Welcome back to First Take. The Spurs, even the series with the Thunder last night, dominating really from the opening tip. The first 7.5 minutes, Wemby single-handedly outscored Oklahoma City 11-8. He also hit a half-court shot as time expired in the first half. The Spurs were on one and beat Oklahoma City by 21 points. So now these two have kind of gone back and forth a little bit. Who do you think has the edge right now? Is it OKC or is it the Spurs? Stephen A.
Well, I'm going to say it's the Spurs simply because of the injuries to OKC. I'll give the OKC Thunder an edge from the standpoint that they're going home for Game 5. But they lost Game 4, and I'm concerned about these injuries. If it were not for the injuries and a potentially depleted backcourt, I wouldn't feel that way. But against San Antonio, you need your ball handlers. It can't just be about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You need a bevy of dudes that you can put on the basketball court that can handle the pressure from the backcourt of the San Antonio Spurs. You need to be able to do that. And if that's not the case, it's not to say that Oklahoma City can't win, but it's going to be a bit more difficult, far more arduous. And I think that's what we have to pay attention to. Again, they're going back to Oklahoma City. So again, it may not be a disadvantage at all because that home crowd might galvanize the troops. And we all know that role players play better at home than they do on the road. But nevertheless, San Antonio did win Game 4. And on top of it all, they've got two of their primary ball handlers back in the lineup in De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper. And OKC seems to be reeling in the health department. That would be my concern.
Excellent point. I don't really have much to add. I think Steve hit it right on the head. I am worried about those two injuries, but I still think OKC has the edge. And I'm also going to go market correction. 6 for 33 from 3 in Game 4. The Thunder were. And a lot of open shots. You're going to make some of those now next time. This is the Kenny Atkinson data nonsense. You're going to make a few. I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, you don't make them one day, and the next game they go in. So I think that will help them too. Stevie and I have been on the same page, so has Brian. Everybody has been on the same page. Long series, great series, 3 games to go. I think we're going to be sitting there Saturday night at 10 o'clock, fourth quarter, anybody's game. And I'll take OKC, but I'll stick with that premise.
Okay, so who wins Game 5 then? Who do you think has the edge in Game 5 as this series goes back to Oklahoma City?
Regardless of what I just said, I'm still going with OKC. I know the odds are stacked against them a little bit because of what I said, but I'm telling you that I think that they've got the heart, the savvy, the poise of a champion. And on their home court, having covered games there, to see that crowd and the kind of effect it could have, even though San Antonio did win Game 1 of this series, I think as the series wanes, when you have to go to Oklahoma City, it has a detrimental effect on most opposing teams. And I think it will against San Antonio in Game 5.
I agree. I think OKC wins Game 5. Spurs win Game 6. You don't want to lose 2 in a row in a series. The Spurs already have done that. Now OKC doesn't want to have to lose 2 in a row. But I like their mettle. I'll take Thunder tomorrow night.
Okay. I like Oklahoma City, too. They've shown that they're able to respond, I guess, as have the Spurs. All right, next on First Take. Could there be a silver lining for the Cavs?
Crew is back. Monica, Jay, Will, and Alan. Quickly on the odds. Are you surprised Vegas still has OKC such prohibitive favorites?
No, they have 2 home games left.
Yeah.
In the series, if you think about it. So that's why it's in their favor. But, you know, like this is a razor-thin difference in this series between these two teams. And the Spurs are showing you that they are not afraid of the defending champs.
We'll get to that in a minute, but I want to talk, Jay, about the formula. Did the Spurs maybe find something last night that not only gives them a blueprint, but the realistic possibility of going into Oklahoma City and taking that Game 5?
Yes. Because of their young legs and health. And I would say for me, those are probably 2 of the biggest attributes that a team like the Spurs can have. I mean, when you start thinking about depth in older teams, the amount of energy it takes to sustain that level of effort on a defensive end while having a high clip of shot making, there aren't a lot of teams in the NBA that can do this. That's why in hour 1, Monica said this is probably the worst matchup for OKC. The Spurs have that youth, they have that health, and they have that depth.
And Monica, we're seeing that coming to fruition. We've talked about this all season long. Yeah, but what if Oklahoma City gets the Spurs, and we're seeing it play out right in front of us?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, y'all. I have been one that questions whether or not the youth would be a detriment to the Spurs ultimately, but they've proven so far that it is a positive thing because they are learning on the fly. And Victor Wembanyama is the great equalizer when you have a young team. Now, I'm not ready to call this series. In fact, if you ask me to call this series MB, I don't know because I don't know what's going to happen. I think the Thunder are going to bounce back and respond. But I will say this: we praise the Thunder for their depth. Jalen Williams and AJ Mitchell, both of them being down, and I'm not sure what's going to happen with AJ Mitchell in particular, that's a big deal when you look at the opportunity to respond. But I love the way that these Spurs are learning in real time. And yes, Victor Wembanyama is a centerpiece, but you have to give those guards their credit when they're not turning the basketball over and when they're defending at a high level.
I'm watching the minutes for Victor Wembanyama now for the rest of the series because, we showed it earlier in the show. When he's not, his on-court, off-court minutes, the plus minuses and stuff. And to me, this is a stark number. And the Salesian Sisters of St. John Bosco can bless Luke Cornett all they want before the game. He was still in a game his team won in a blowout, -9 in 13 minutes. Cornett, is doing the best he can, obviously, but you can tell when Wemby comes off the court, the Thunder have to dominate those minutes. And if you're Mitch Johnson in certain games, especially on the road now when they go to the road, how much can you take him off? How many chances can you give him a rest, especially late in the game? And I wonder how much wear and tear that does have on him as this series goes deep.
Yeah, because he's a young player, Jay Will, and it begs the question, can a young player who's effectively put this team on his shoulders, still a little bit skinny shoulders, carry this the rest of the way against the defending champs?
Yeah, skinny shoulders, Matt, that nobody reaching. You can't reach up to those skinny shoulders. I will say this back to Monica's point, because I thought was very important here, is not having A.J. Mitchell and J-Dub in the game. Think about what that does. I mean, those are two of your three primary ball handlers on the court that initiate the offense for a team that has to make read after read after read. So now that bumps Jarrett McCain up in the pecking order. It bumps Wiggins up in the pecking order. And these guys, even though they have depth, like the level of decisions they have to make at that clip, there's a drop-off between A.J. Mitchell and J-Dub to those guys. No offense to Jarrett McCain and Wiggins. They're both talented, but they're not at that same level. So I think that almost combats the fact of the plus-minus of when Wemby is on and off the court. It's something that OKC, will have to learn how to adjust to on the fly in 2 out of 3 games to win.
The 25 points off turnovers is the formula that the Thunder normally use.
Yeah.
They normally use that against you. And what you also see here is Mitch Johnson and his coaching staff did a tremendous job where they have now adjusted. They know what that's the thing about the playoffs, right? The longer you go into playoffs, the longer you go into series, we know what you're doing. We understand it. And what you saw in that role was anticipating, was jumping routes like our NFL people would like to talk about.
Yeah.
That's what you saw from this team. They know some of the stuff you're running, and they're ready for it.
All right, so Monica recused herself from this question. Go ahead, Monica. Go ahead.
But real quick, the other piece, though, thanks, Barry, for honoring my recusing. But the other piece, though, when you look at bench points, I was just looking at the 2 wins for the Spurs, the 2 wins for the Thunder, 57-25 and 76-23. Like, can you get to those numbers without those 2 guys being available?
All right, it's best of 3 series now. Jay Will, who wins it?
I'm still going to go with OKC. I just think that something about experience in this matter, will count for me down the stretch with OKC. And as much as they can hinder SGA, and he only got 7 free throw attempts last night, he's so good at getting to his spots on the court. I don't know if you can stop that 2 out of 3 games.
Right, I'm going to stick with the Spurs. Monica doesn't want to do it. I'm sticking with the Spurs. I think there's blood in the water. Wemby knows it. And Game 5, you're going to see it.
All right, so Monica, you're the only one who look back at this. We can say you're right.
No, Jay, that's what I'm saying, Jay. Okay, wait, real quick though, Jay, tell me if I'm crazy because I kind of feel like the every other game thing is something that the coaching staffs are just living with at this point, right? And when we get to somebody, obviously, to Matt's point earlier, somebody's got to break serve. But do you almost expect a loss for OKC in terms of for the Thunder in terms of or for the Spurs in terms of the energy that they just put out in Game 4?
We'll find out. We're going to find out tomorrow night. It's fun. Tied at 2. Best of 3 is going to decide this one. Great stuff all morning from you. Thank you. Let's go back to